Lesson 2. What is conflict? Before going to talk about these topics on conflict, I'd like to tell that just we are going to have a reading of the passage on conflict without any explanation, either in English or in Bengali. So I hope you will do enjoy this reading session with me, and I'd like to once again thank you for being with me. Now, without any delay, let's go to read the topic conflict. What is conflict? A. 1. Read the following prose text on conflict and answer the questions that follow. Conflict can be described as a disagreement among groups or individuals characterized by antagonism and hostility. This is usually fueled by the opposition of one party to another in an attempt to reach an objective different from that of the other party. The elements involved in the conflict have varied sets of principles and values, thus allowing a conflict to arise. You can see the picture of conflict. And may peace prevail on earth. This is a slogan. Conflict can be defined in many ways, but one of the simplest is that it pertains to the opposing ideas and actions of different entities, resulting in an antagonistic state. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. All of us possess our own opinions, ideas, and sets of belief. We have our own ways of looking at things, and we act according to what we think is proper. Hence, we often find ourselves in conflict in different scenarios. It may involve other individuals, groups of people, or a struggle within our own selves. Consequently, conflict influences our actions and decisions in one way or another. Conflict comes naturally. The clashing of thoughts and ideas is a part of the human experience. It is true that it can be destructive if left uncontrolled. However, it shouldn't be seen as something that can only cause negative things to transpire. It is a way to come up with more meaningful realizations that can certainly be helpful to the individuals involved. Conflict can be seen as an opportunity for learning and understanding our differences. We can all live harmoniously despite conflicts as long as we know how to responsibly manage these struggles. Causes and types of conflict. According to an American psychologist, conflicts are basically of three types arising out of three different causes. A. Economic conflict. Resources are limited, and so groups or individuals come into conflict with each other to possess as much of these resources as possible, thus bringing forth hostile behaviors among those involved. B. Value conflict. It is concerned with the varied preferences and ideologies that people have as their principles. Conflicts driven by this factor are demonstrated in wars, wherein separate parties have their separate sets of beliefs that they assert in an aggressive manner. C. Power conflict. It occurs when the parties involved intend to maximize what influence they have in the social setting. Such a situation can happen among individuals or groups or even nations. Conflicts are also classified into the four following types. A. Interpersonal conflict. This type of conflict refers to a conflict between two individuals. This occurs typically because of differences among people. Apparently, it is a natural occurrence which can eventually help in personal growth or developing our relationships with others. You can see the diagram of types of conflict. Figure 16.2. Conflict, interpersonal, intra-group, inter-organizational. B. Intrapersonal conflict. It occurs within an individual. The experience takes place in the person's mind. Hence, it is a type of conflict that is psychological, involving the individual's thoughts, values, principles, and emotions. C. Intragroup conflict. It is a type of conflict that happens among individuals within a team. It arises from interpersonal disagreements or differences in views and ideas. Within a team, conflict can be helpful in coming up with decisions which will eventually allow the members to reach their objectives as a team. However, if the degree of conflict disrupts harmony among the members, then some serious guidance from a different party will be needed for it to be settled. D. Intergroup conflict. It takes place when a misunderstanding arises among different teams within an organization. This is due to the varied sets of goals and interests of these different groups. In addition, competition also contributes to intergroup conflict. Exercise 2. Give the appropriate meanings of the following words. Also mention the part of speech of each word. Change them in as many parts of speech as possible and make sentences of your own with each changed form. Antagonism. B. Hostility. C. Pertain. D. Transpire. E. Harmonious. F. Maximize. G. Incompatible. H. Disrupt. 3. Answer the following questions. A. What, according to the text, is conflict? What causes conflict? B. How many types of conflict does the text list? Is there any other type of conflict that you are aware of? C. How many parties are involved in a conflict? D. How does conflict influence our actions and decisions? E. Is there any positive impact of conflict? F. Do you think conflicts can be resolved without anyone being harmed? G. How is intergroup conflict different from intragroup conflict? H. How is interpersonal conflict different from intrapersonal conflict? Exercise 4. Fill in the gaps in the following sentences with an appropriate expression from the list of words given in the box below. These are the list: within, among, economic, deaths, clash, called, natural, serious, interpersonal, resource, and. Conflict can be defined as dash of value, as clash of value and ideas among other things, and the most serious form of conflict is dash clashes, is interpersonal clashes that results in a lot of deaths and casualties. There can be conflict within us, which is called intrapersonal conflict. The conflict between or dash persons, between or among persons, is called interpersonal conflict. Constraints of dash resources, constraints of economic resources is also a cause of conflict, and it is known as dash conflict. It is known as constraints of dash. It is known as economic conflict. Conflict is a very serious. Conflict is a very serious phenomenon, but it sometimes takes dash forms. Conflict is a natural phenomenon. Conflict is a very natural phenomenon, but sometimes it takes serious forms. So then lesson 3. I don't like to go to lesson 3. I do hope you have enjoyed reading this lesson and enjoyed listening to the reading of this lesson on what is conflict and the causes and types of conflict. Thank you very much. Thank you for being a part of this channel. If you want to get more videos like this, more readings on English like this, more Bangla to English translation on English like this, please do subscribe and stay with us. Thank you very much.